Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about these crazy Star Wars rumors. They've been making the rounds. Doomcock did a video on the rumors. They kind of gel with what we've been hearing on some Disney forums about the brewing civil war going on at Lucasfilm.
Yep.
And you can kind of see some conflict publicly, especially in regards to the Leslie Headland situation and some other weird announcements and backpedaling and blame games and all this other bullshit going on with Star Wars right now. So it seems plausible that this is true.
Well, also with the Headland thing, we were seeing it from people that are more like the park-centered end of it, that we're talking about the Bobs being mad, where like the Doomcock and stuff was talking about, you know, his contacts are at Lucasfilm and what's going on there. So we're hearing from two different places, and it's kind of meshing up.
Yeah, because at this point, look, we talk about this often. Disney is losing a shit ton of money. They're losing a lot of money. They're borrowing billions and billions of dollars just to keep the lights on.
They don't have to pay back all of it between 2026 and 2060.
Yeah, so they have to have a hit. In you look at what they've done with Star Wars. The biggest hit so far, at least in recent memory, has been The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
and that's one that reportedly Kathleen Kennedy did not have very much of a hand in.
According to what Doomcock was saying, I did this. I don't usually listen to videos, but I just happened to catch that one. He was hearing, again, all rumor, that she apparently thought of Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda was supposed to be a girl, which that doesn't surprise me at all, and that that she wanted a female director for the first episode and all that stuff, and then Favreau got Filoni, and then Iger's on the cover of Time with Baby Yoda, and she didn't think she got the credit she should have gotten, and he does a really funny high school parody that is actually pretty hilarious. You'll
have to watch the original video. I'll put a link to the original video in the description, but yeah, that's really interesting, because it seemed like almost to me like Bob Iger at that point is just kind of dancing in the end zone, like, I'm gonna get my picture in the cover of Time with Baby Yoda.
Well, prior to that, there was an interview with him, and he was talking about how he was more hands-on with The Mandalorian. So that was interesting too, and that was the one I think he was kind of stepping in on it, because the other stuff was going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
And apparently, the other thing that was going on was, I guess, when she went to check in on what was going on with Mandalorian, the third season, because they're going to do that, she was basically told that it was Favreau, Filoni, and George Lucas. And apparently, of course, all rumor again, did not go over well with her.
Yeah, this whole thing has just been a dumpster fire for sure. So the rumors talking about, this is coming from Bounding in the Comics. They kind of transcribed a little bit of Doomcock's video here. We're going to give you the Cliff Notes version, but the rumor comes from Doomcock, who begins by stating, to start with, let's examine some new allegations about how The Mandalorian came about and how this either created or worsened the rift between Kennedy and Favreau. Said following Solo bombing at the box office, Disney CEO Bob Iger put the brakes on future Star Wars story films that were in development, like Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, and then they became shows.
Yeah, Mandalorian was the Boba Fett film, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is, which I want to point out again, is being directed by a woman who isn't out there making it all about being a woman and agendas. But you don't hear about Deborah Chow.
No, you don't.
Who isn't white, by the way.
Deborah Chow, who probably was not Kathleen Kennedy's pick. That's why you don't hear about it.
She was Favreau's pick.
Yeah, so Doomcock explained that the Mandalorian rose from the ashes of the Boba Fett movie. Obviously, I mean, this seems like this absolutely would have been like a prequel.
Yeah, it does.
To the original trilogy. He goes on to explain that the people brought in to consult The Mandalorian included George Lucas, as well as Kathleen
George
Kennedy.
Lucas was there when they were doing The Mandalorian. Supposedly he was on set and he was brought in for it.
Well, they had pictures of him holding Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And he had this kind of like WTF look on his face. I've seen pictures of Kathleen Kennedy on set, but she did not look happy, and she looked like she was kind of in the back.
Does she ever look happy, though?
Like we had to, well, sometimes.
She's surrounded by other women saying the Force is female.
Yes. Sometimes she looks happy. As for Kennedy's role in The Mandalorian, Doomcock states, I'm informed it was Kathleen Kennedy's idea that the Mandalorian should be protecting a child. Not a bad idea. It has been successful, but then this is what you're talking about, where it was supposed to be go a little bit differently. Said it was Jon Favreau's idea that the baby be Baby Yoda. This is where Doomcock says the alleged grudge between Kennedy and Favreau began in earnest. He elaborates, my sources claim that in Kathleen Kennedy's mind, Baby Yoda was her idea, and she feels slighted that she didn't properly receive credit for the creation of Baby Yoda.
He does this high school, so this is like high school and does an impersonation. It's pretty dang funny.
Okay, so again, I'm going to put a link to his video. Go out and check it out. Don't want to snipe his video. Aside from feeling cheated out of her fair credit, according to the source, Kennedy was unhappy with how the whole thing was implemented. Kennedy reportedly wanted the so-called Baby Yoda to be Baby Yodette. In short,
well, how would you call that? It would still be the child.
The child.
So it would be the child, but the child might be a girl child. Doesn't matter. It's still the child.
She would have blue hair, of course.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what they do.
I mean, for the longest time, you didn't even know if it was a boy or girl.
No, we didn't. Nobody knew.
So what difference would it have made anyway?
We don't even know what kind of bits Yoda's people have.
Maybe they don't have boy or girls. Maybe they have other kinds of genders.
Other kins.
That's right.
They're just all a bunch of other kins. So Kennedy wanted the female director. You said that. Doomcock details attention escalated after Kennedy had a meeting with Bob Iger discussing the plans for Mandalorian Season 3.
This is what I was telling you, yes.
And she probably blew in there like a hurricane.
Okay, this is about a month ago, he said, which the timing is about right, because that's when a lot of this weird shit started. That's when we're seeing, like, did you notice lately there's all these articles about Kathleen Kennedy saying about George Lucas and the prequels and all that? You know, she's not saying bad necessarily, more like, you know, he couldn't leave Wolof alone is kind of, you know.
That's kind of the vibe I get, but I also get, like, I know George better than you know
George. It's like George is my guy. I gotta make sure the media knows George is on my side. So, if you don't know about the backstory, it's just like, okay, she's talking about George, but if the backstory's true, it's you know, it's like, he's my friend. The whole thing is like high school. He says it's like high school and he's not wrong. It's like,
but this is when the whole pissing match started. You can see, I mean, well, one, it probably started after Last Jedi, obviously, but then Rise of Skywalker underperforming. And then, you know,
Solo.
Yeah, Solo was a misfire. Like, you can get away with one mulligan, right? But you can't strike out repeatedly.
Oh, no matter what happened, no matter how much it fell off a cliff, they keep saying Last Jedi was a huge success. But now everybody's turning on it and saying, well, you know, he really didn't do his homework. Well, you know, it really wasn't that great, you know, 2 years after the fact. But
at the end of the day, all Disney cares about are people buying Blu-rays, are they buying Star Wars merchandise? And the answer to the sequel trilogy anyway is people are not buying merchandise. They're not buying
Baby Yoda.
They're buying Baby Yoda shit, yeah, but they're not
Baby Yodette. Yodette.
But they're not buying Admiral Holdo action figures. No. They're not going to Galaxy's Edge like they were hoping. They're not buying a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so I went back to what we were talking about. So when she found out that they were working on a script for Mandalorian 3 and she wasn't in on it, supposedly she said something to the effect of, indeed, I am told that Kennedy lost it, saying, I will have it my way or I will burn this silly nonsense to the ground. And then we get the Headland leak to Vanity Fair, which immediately, I still want to point this out, when we started seeing it, I didn't cover it right away on the Disney blog. And the reason I didn't cover it on Disney blog was because it wasn't confirmed, for one. For the other thing was because Kneon immediately was like, wait a minute, this does not sound like Disney PR.
No.
And he told me to wait and not cover it because it didn't sound right. And we've worked when around Disney PR, so we know what we're looking for. And it didn't sound right, so we didn't know for sure if it was real or not. And if it wasn't real, who was pushing this out there? We've seen it before with people like Noelle Stevenson, who seemed to, when She-Ra came out, it seemed like her PR person was promoting her, and then She-Ra secondary, not the other way around. And that's kind of the vibe we got with this.
Yeah, this is either Kathleen Kennedy's person or Leslie Headland's person, and then to bolster it, they throw it on. They wait until May the 4th, and they throw it on StarWars.com.
Well, they did that to confirm it, but before that, a week before that, or days before that, is when they put it all over the internet.
Yeah.
To all these news outlets, and they did it deliberately to start people talking about it, and that would go along with this because she's pissed. She didn't get her own way. So why would you hire the one person who could be a legal issue for Disney?
Yeah, well, to to give the finger to Bob Iger.
Yeah, it was a baby. It was a non-answer question.
I know.
Everybody knew what
I'm a little slow sometimes.
But there's that, and then there's the fact that it was possible legal issue, and apparently the rumor is Bob's didn't know about it. The Bobs didn't know she did it until after it was announced, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?" And that's when we tie in with the Parks people. They're like, "Shit's hitting the fan. What's going on?"
Yeah, so we have the Parks people coming out and being like, "What the hell's going on?" Because normally they don't cover this, but they're like, "Whatever's going on is so bad that we're hearing about it." And then all of a sudden we've got a former Disney World executive coming out and being like, "Oh, it was Kathleen Kennedy that basically fucked up Galaxy's Edge. It was supposed to be original trilogy. It was supposed to be Tatooine. We had the Mos Eisley Cantina. It was going to be great. We had this all planned, and she had a hissy fit and made us change it." So
basically, she has lots of hissy fits and then tries to change things. But now she said she's going to burn it to the ground if she doesn't get her own way.
Then fire her.
That's a dog. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. It's not Lucasfilm doesn't own Disney. It's the other way around.
Fire her. Look, Bobs, if you're listening to this show, dear Bobs, you have an out. You've got coronavirus. You can do whatever the hell you want and just be like, "Sorry, Kathy, we ran out of money."
Well, they're banking on the fact that they don't. I think they probably mentioned it. They're banking on the fact that he won't do that because they're already going to say misogyny and they're against female Star Wars, female people leading Star Wars. However, Dallas Howard and Deborah Chow were doing episodes of The Mandalorian. And Deborah Chow is going to be directing the Obi-Wan show. I mean, that clearly isn't the truth. And she's like, not only is she a woman, she's Asian Canadian. And the thing is, you don't see them, punishing her. That they really truly were about diversity. They wanted to make sure people knew that they were pushing diversity. Why did they never mention her?
Because she is Favreau's hire.
But because she's like, I just want to be a good director.
Yeah.
If I happen to be a woman, that's, great, but I want to be a good director.
They never mentioned Deborah Chow because she just wants to do her work. She just wants to do her job.
And do it well.
Remember back in the day when, you could be a man or a woman working on a project and half the time people didn't even know who the hell you were because you did your job so well?
Right, and you let the work speak for you?
Right.
Now, they have all these people shouting out all over the damn internet about how diverse they are, how woke they are, how their agendas are. Look at me, jumping for attention. And then the work is shit because they're spending all their time on the internet looking for attention.
Yeah, so this is bad. So apparently George Lucas is getting involved in the tiff. And
supposedly, the rumor.
The rumor is, and again, these are all rumors. We don't know for sure, but let's just say that Doomcock was accurate when it came to Rise of Skywalker leaks. So I do believe he probably has some people.
Plus, I've been hearing, I have been hearing on the other side of it from like the parks, more the parks angle was that they were trying to get Lucas back in some capacity to work on Star Wars.
Please say
but he wanted to be more of a creative role. They wanted to be in a non-creative role. He wanted to be more of a creative role. That has been going on. So it's everything we're hearing on the other side is lining up with what he's hearing on this side. And that's why we're doing this video, because it's lining up.
Yeah, so he said that James Earl Jones was seen at Skywalker Ranch.
I didn't get a chance to tell you about that, yeah.
Interesting, my source informs me yesterday James Earl Jones was there. Was he there to record some lines for Vader?
But did he get a tattoo before he went? Because he's not a real fan, and he's not serious about Star Wars, unless he got a Ralph McQuarrie concept art tattoo on his hand before he went, or somewhere on his body.
Hot Yoda.
To prove that.
Hot Yoda on his abs.
Hot Yoda, to prove that you are fan enough to be there.
So he said he followed rumors from WDW Pro, who detailed that there was a civil war. Yeah, this is again, this is what we've been talking about. Those are the rumors
that we put out there, back in the day. We were the ones that found it first because it's a site we use all the time.
Yeah, and that's what's weird, because again, it very seldom is all of Disney up in arms about something like this. Usually Disney is so compartmentalized that one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. But the fact that even the parks people, it's so bad, even the parks insiders are like, holy shit, what's going on at Lucasfilm?
Which is why I brought it up to begin with, because the parks people are going on about it. There's more to it than what we're aware of, and that's why I even brought WDW Pro to everybody's attention, which apparently now everybody's following it now. You're welcome.
There are some really desperate Disney blogs right now, we've just gone down a totally different road. But because there's no Disney news, they're freaking jumping over each other, eating each other, making shit up just to get hits, speculating about stuff that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, people don't understand how rights work, apparently. For, like when you know, have rights for a film release, it doesn't apply to other things.
Anyway, in this particular instance, everybody seems to be aware there's a problem. I have to wonder if the former VP at Disney World didn't intentionally choose now to leak information out about the shit show regarding Galaxy's Edge.
But that thing was funny because it sat there for like a week and no one caught it.
Nobody caught it.
And again, that was us that put it out there first. And the reason we only knew about it was because our friend, who knows we follow this stuff, made sure he told us because he always listens to the show. But he said, I would have got this to you sooner, but I was late listening to the show. It's been out a week. Then as soon as we report it, here they all come. And you know what? The articles written about it mentioned us reporting it first, and everybody stepped over top of us.
Yeah, it's there's definitely some bullshit, high bullshit going on. We can confirm it, and I would not be surprised if Doomcock had people at Lucasfilm given the accuracy of the leaks for the Rise of Skywalker. So it's rumor for now, but there does seem to be a lot of public evidence that this is.
Well, we're seeing on both sides. He's getting it from Lucasfilm. We're getting it from not only WW Pro, but other people on the park side, and they're mashing up. Which is the only reason we're covering this in this video, is to show that they're kind of mashing up, and we're seeing this.
So people are like, well, does this mean that there's hope for Star Wars? The only way, at this point, at first I was like willing to give Kathleen Kennedy the benefit of the doubt because George Lucas put her in, it's so weird. People are like, oh, George Lucas, he makes questionable decisions, but I'm like, well, if you thought the prequels were questionable and you thought his sequel treatments were questionable, then why did you listen to him on Kathleen Kennedy?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But again, we thought you see Kathleen Kennedy's name in so many 80s movies, 90s movies. You're thinking, well, she knows her shit.
I know, but beyond that, why, if she's so BFF with George, why is she mad? Because they didn't tell her they were bringing him in? I mean, it was out there already. It was already circulating that he was coming in. It wasn't like a surprise.
No. So I think it's worse because then, again, we're seeing Lucasfilm now just being like, well, screw it. It's all make-believe anyway. It's all pretend.
Oh, yeah.
Canon's all pretend.
Basically, we're just going to undo everything and we're giving you a heads up we're going to do it. That's what this means.
She's going to burn it to the ground.
This means we're going to undo everything. We're going to F it up beyond recognition. But it doesn't mean anything anyway, so.
Yeah, so Disney, if you're listening, Bobs, you have to stop this nonsense. You can still save Star Wars or some of it. But she seems hell-bent to burn the whole thing to the ground.
I mean, even if you accept even the sequel trilogy, the way it sounds like by this way that this person said what he was saying, it was basically like, canon doesn't matter anyway. We decide what's canon, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And it stifles creativity for us telling our own stories. That means we're going to throw it all out the window and just make it all up, make it anew. At least with the sequel trilogy, they mostly tried to stick to stuff. Mostly, yeah. This sounds like they're just like they don't even give a shit anymore, and this all happened after this Kathleen Kennedy got pissed.
Yeah, we'll take the keys away, Bobs. You are in charge. You can shut her down. You have the power to shut her down. The fans will thank you for it.
Mm-hmm. They're afraid they're going to be called misogynist or whatever because they said she's already trying to spin this whole BS narrative, which is what set me off last time, about that, it's because of misogyny and racism and she only worked for Harvey for a year as his assistant. She worked for him more than that, but a year as his assistant.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. This is not 2015. This is 2020. Different rules, different year, different rules, and worst case scenario, just blame it on the virus.
Well, it only works when people care about being called names, and those names don't mean anything anymore.
No, they don't mean anything. They've taken when you call somebody something for so long and it's untrue, they lose all power. So take the power back, take Star Wars back, give it to people who actually care about Star Wars, and you might have a shot at saving it. Mm-hmm. If not, it's done. It's done.
But I'm just saying, the reason we're only covering this, like I said before, is because it's the two, what we're hearing over here and over here, it's matching up. That's why we wanted to mention it. Because it is matching with what we've been hearing ourselves.
All right, guys. So we're going to wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.